If we start with ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and we do the complete the square technique on this literal form, we'll wind up with x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is the quadratic formula. When we know what a, b, and c are, we can solve for x in any quadratic. There are a couple places students often make errors when they're using this formula. One is to forget that the negative b belongs in the numerator, not as a separate term. The second involves substituting into b under the radical, and we'll show that in an example now. Suppose the problem that I wanted to solve was 2x squared minus 8x minus 12 equals 0. Now, in fact, we could divide this through by 2, and we could see if that factored, and it would at least give us easier numbers to look at. So let's try that. X squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Now we'll try to identify a, b, and c. A equals 1. There it is. B equals negative 4. And c equals negative 6. Notice that the x's don't come along with. They're just the coefficients, but we do bring the positive and negative signs along. So we're ready to try to do the substitution. So we have negative b. Well, negative b could more readily be said the opposite of b, because the opposite of negative 4 would make that positive 4. Plus or minus the square root of, we have negative 4, okay? Negative 4 squared. If you're doing this calculation with a calculator and you don't put parentheses around your negative 4, your calculator will misunderstand what you intended to do, and you'll end up with the wrong solution. So make sure you get your parentheses around negative 4. If b is negative, make sure you use those parentheses. Now we have to do minus 4ac. Minus 4 times a, which is 1, and c, which is negative 6. And all over 2 times a, which is 1. Now we just have to complete this arithmetic. X equals, well, the denominator's 2. And here's our 4, plus or minus. Let's see what's under this radical. Negative 4 squared is 16. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 6 is plus 24. So our answer is narrowing down to 4 plus or minus the square root of 24 plus 16 is 40, all over 2. Now we've still got a little ways to go here. We've got 4 plus or minus the square root of 40, and the square root of 40 is simplifiable. So here we are with 4 plus or minus, you've got 4 times 10, so that's 2 square roots of 10 all over 2. Now you'll see that there's a 4 and a 2 and a 2 here. The 10x as if it was a variable in this case, so it's not involved in this simplification. So if we take 4 divided by 2, we'll have 2. And if we have 2 radical 10 divided by 2, we just have radical 10. So our solution is 2 plus or minus radical 10. There are two answers there, 2 plus radical 10, 2 minus radical 10. And we have our solution by using the formula.